All right, good evening, everyone. Apologies for the late start. We thought we were live. We've been having a chat about this track and the drivers and everything for a good 10 minutes, and then we've realized that we've just been talking to each other and no one else is listening, which is great. But we are live now, and just in time to see Dan having a spin in the middle sector. But yeah, we're here for Xtreme Tier. This is the Canadian Grand Prix from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and it's Nev and Connor in the comms box for you tonight. So, Connor, for the second time, good evening to you.
Hello, we're live. We've just had a good conversation that literally, you know, means nothing to anyone. But yeah,
Yep.
Canada, we're back. Last race of the week here. Then we head to obviously Brazil next week. But yeah, it's a good track for racing. Let's say at least we can make moves, see a lot of battles here. So
Yeah.
it should be exciting.
Yeah. 3 DRS zones on this track. So, yeah, plenty of opportunities for overtaking and for drivers to be close together. So it should be a good race. We'll see what happens with the weather. It looks good for now in qualifying. Martin is in the chat saying that it is going to be all dry. So it will be a dry race. DRS will be enabled, and that should actually help the racing, as Bobo has set a new fastest time of the session. And I'm watching Lorpy, who just seems to be hitting the wall everywhere. He's taken off both of his end plates. So let's try and find someone else on a lap. Moritz in the Haas, just coming up to the line, and he does not improve on his best time.
Yeah, it's an interesting little grid at the minute because obviously you got Bobo's a bit clear. Then, to be honest, everyone down to about. I've just realised as well. There's 100th of a second separating Moritz and Calvin at the minute, which is kind of wild. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And there's a few drivers. Well, Ben is still going on the intermediates. He's been on those since the start of the session.
yeah, I think he's trolling. If I'm honest, mate.
Yeah. So he might be ducking into the pits and putting on a set of softs, or he might just carry on and try and overtake everyone in the race. And maybe Saviour is doing that as
he
well.
did this last time. I was on Xtreme Comms. I think I was with you actually, and he just put the inters on in quali. Tried to do it last to first and actually failed it because he ended up crashing. But let's hope this time it works out better.
Yeah. He's certainly well capable of it. He'll probably be in the top 10 by the second lap because his pace is just amazing, as we were talking about when we thought we were streaming the first time.
I'm so glad that he didn't get to hear us gaslight him. Because his head, I get him enough in my DMs as it is when it's like me saying nice stuff about him. Oh, he's just cut the chicane, bless him. I wonder if he's going to come in now and just put a set of softs on.
Yeah, where is he? Oh yeah, he's got the back straight to get back to the pits. Saviour's in the pits.
One of the worst things about this track, by the way, is the pit entry. It's absolutely terrible. The amount of crashes that thing can cause is crazy. You got to be so careful, and you got to be able to predict when the car in front of you is going in there as well. It can be so off-putting, especially in qualifying.
You saying that has actually unlocked my memory of the last time I raced here, which was MRC a couple of seasons ago, and it was a wet race, and there was a safety car, I think, and I got a drive-through coming into the pits when I thought my Delta was green. So the safety, the pit entry pissed me off for that reason. last time I raced
Yeah, I
here.
can
But yeah,
imagine.
it is a pain.
Certainly is. Yeah, it's far from ideal. The pit entry here. It's also one where the braking zone to make the pit speed limit is also the braking zone for the actual corner.
Yeah,
So it becomes even more of a nightmare. And then you've also got to predict if the car ahead of you's coming in. You've got to react to that without putting yourself off and missing your line and cutting the next chicane. I hate it. It's the worst thing they could have ever done. And it's not an ideal really pit exit either because it drops you right into the middle of turn 2.
yeah.
So yeah. But in general I like this track. Well, I like watching it. I don't like driving it.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's it's like I said to you earlier, at least it's good for racing.
Yeah. And track limits, of course, is often a big factor here. It's very easy to get penalties, and then, as you mentioned earlier as well, it can be a bit inconsistent with the, it'll tell you that you've been off track when you looks like you haven't, and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it certainly can.
Ben is back out on a fresh set of intermediates again, so he is definitely not going to be putting it on pole as you would normally expect him to.
Well, if he does, I quit at that point. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what the thing is? There's a part of me that wouldn't be surprised. That's the really sad bit.
Yeah, well, we said
I mean,
earlier, like an 11.8 on Inters is pretty crazy a lap time.
that's like I said. That's literally faster than I managed. That's literally faster than I managed in tier 3. All right, I did get a lot of bad luck in qualifying, but that's still. Do you know what I mean? It's wild.
Yeah, it's quite crushing to see how
Well,
ridiculously good he is.
yeah, he's. The thing is, I watch him and I'm like, I swear I do that through that corner. I swear I do that through that corner, but I obviously don't. So
Yeah.
it's like, I think he's hacked. That's what I'm gonna say. He's hacked.
Hot take.
Yeah, hot. I think that's a very accurate one as well. Fair. Makes me feel better about myself. So, but no, it's like we said. All jokes aside, he's so good, and it's actually nice in a way to see someone taking it to Eugenie.
Yeah, definitely.
And now this season, obviously, like I said, before the stream got underway, well, the second stream, Saviour's right in the mix now as well. So, but I
Yeah,
do
this
wonder if those two have an unwritten rule of qualifying on inters.
it certainly seems that way. Saviour's
Because
in the pits, so he's done. And yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna watch Ben because he's done a lap. This is gonna be a 10. Oh no, not quite, but he did improve, and he's gone up a position.
and he's beaten 2 drivers who have set a time on the softs.
Yeah, I'm disturbed to say the very least. Dan's out. He's crashed by the looks of it in the Wall of Champions. So
I mean, it even looks like it's in the middle of the straight before the final chicane, which is a bit odd.
yeah, I mean, probably not ideal for anyone finishing that up. His teammates also just had an incident because he's crawling into the pits. Rassam. What's single track doing? He's about to come across the line. I think he's about to have actually quite a big improvement. A 1:10.0. He's up to P5. Good lap.
I'm just watching Calvin. No, Calvin final chicane
Ant on the
absolutely
stunner.
botched it.
Into P4 from Ant as well. But that Calvin as well, P3, he's sort of come out of nowhere there. He was sort of not really anywhere in Tier 1 in qualifying anyway. He had a good race. But that's a good lap from Calvin to put in P3.
It could have been even better because he was on a good lap at the end, but yeah, that last chicane just broke a bit too late, I think, and went over the curb. But yeah, P3, pretty good place to start from, and yeah, Chris slotting himself into second, half a tenth away from Bobo. And
Crazy close between the front three, just over a tenth separating them. So yeah, Calvin could have well taken pole there.
Yeah, but it's plenty of opportunities to come in the race, obviously, with all the things we've said. But we'll just run through the grid quickly. So yeah, Bobo on pole from Chris, Calvin third, Ant fourth, Panitza in fifth, single track sixth, Armor Red seventh from Baby Hornet, Moritz and Kaiser Soze rounding out the top 10. Then you got Lou, Rassam, Lorpe, Ben, Smith, Saviour, Dan, and Scottish Ninja at the back, who did not set a time. And since we're on crossplay as well, it's worth mentioning that I noticed Dan is, I think, an Xbox player, but I didn't notice if anyone else is.
PC.
Oh, he's PC, is he? Okay, but I
Yeah,
didn't
he's
notice
the
if
only
anyone
one in this
else.
lobby.
Yeah. So majority PlayStation players who have obviously been around the league for quite a while.
He's just scored points in his second race in Tier 3 as well, so he's not had the worst day at the office, Dan.
No, not bad at all. I just wonder if there is any difference really in the way the games actually play. I think there has been in the past. Just minor differences with the handling. But we have now got a short break before the start of the race, so the drivers can tinker with their strategies, figure out what tyres they want to start on, figure out their starting fuel level. If weather was a factor, then obviously they'd have to include that in their thoughts, but we've already heard from Martin that it is a dry race, and you can see from the weather as well that it looks like absolutely not even the hint of cloud cover in Montreal, so it should just be a uninterrupted race in terms of dry tyres. Could be interrupted with safety cars, which is not uncommon at this track, with it being a tighter street circuit, but we'll have to see how
I've
that
just gone
goes.
through 5 safety cars. I'm not going through that again.
Yeah, I did have. I was kind of hopping in and out of the stream in Tier 3 earlier, and I think every time I logged in, it was a safety car.
I mean, I had to stay in the session after my retirement due to being the host. If I left, it would probably crash the whole thing. But the race went on for nearly an hour. That's how mental it was. But yeah,
Mark's asking, what would your ideal strategies be? I don't really know because I've not done a dry race here in a long time, so maybe I'll defer to you, Connor.
Based off Tier 3, it would be medium to hard because of the safety cars. If you're on hard tyres and there's that many safety cars, I mean, it worked out in the end for Avinash, but that's because the last safety car came out at the perfect time for the hard tyres. But I think generally, if you got to look at the fact it's a street track, there is like the likelihood of safety cars here are very, very high. So for me, the medium would be the better starting tyre. But you know, these guys are all very good. You know, you got some of MRC's most elite here. Nev will tell you that he's raised most of them. You know that as well, Mark. So there might be less than there was in Tier 3, that's for sure. But I still think mediums is the way to go because you don't want to take an unnecessary risk.
Yeah, because it wouldn't necessarily take even like a big accident to cause a safety car. It could be something quite minor.
Well, I think in Tier 3 we had 2 safety cars brought out just through someone losing a front wing. So, yeah, on this game, all it takes is like, you know, a bit of debris and boom, safety car. So, yeah, it's definitely something you have to keep in mind when you're picking a strategy here. I mean, they've just got to feel slightly beneficial that it's not going to be a wet race.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I mean, Canada is pretty famous for having wet races, isn't it? There's been quite a few here. 2011 being one. I think we had one only 2 years ago, did we not, as well? Yeah.
Well, just even last year.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's a track not unfamiliar with the wet weather. So
Well, according to Discord, we should be getting onto the way any moment now. I'm assuming it will just be counting down in game, so we'll get to have a look
if it's
at
Simon controlling it,
strategies.
then I better make the call for him because he's probably asleep. Where is he? Yeah, there you go. We're
Here we
going.
go.
So,
Let's
how
have
many
a look.
people have listened to me? Probably none. And I don't blame them.
Oh, well, Ben has
Okay,
gone
a
for
lot have.
softs.
Yeah, he is trolling. He's being Ant, like how Ant used to be.
Yeah.
Ant takes it a bit more seriously now, but whereas Ben's just being an absolute troll. I
And he
bet you
still
he
will
pit
win.
3 times, used all 3 of his soft from qualifying that he didn't use.
Well, Ant posted in the chat earlier when we were asking about strategies, saying he would go soft, soft, intermediate, soft. So maybe that's what Ben's going to do instead.
Soft, soft, intermediate, soft.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's him trolling as well. So
Yeah. Well, he's on the medium, so he's obviously not doing it. But you know, Ben is
yeah,
probably the only person in this lobby who could stick on the intermediates and still be pretty fast.
yeah, without a doubt, he'll definitely win on the inters. No, he probably wouldn't, but it would. Again, it's like with Ben, it's like with you, Joni. You can never rule either of them out, can you? So
No. No.
but I'm now going to predict. I think by the end of lap 1, Ben is going to be P7.
All right, we'll hold you to that. I might even say
Yeah.
P5, just because.
I was going to say P5, but I thought I'll be slightly less generous.
All right. Well, we'll see
So-
who gets that one right.
Probably neither. It'll probably end up spinning and being P18, but hey. But I think we're about to go racing in a second.
Yep. The grid is formed, so let's get the UI out of the way so we can actually see the lights. And they've gone out, and we are underway for the Xtreme Tier Canadian Grand Prix with Bobo leading away from pole and Chris on his outside into turn 1. Looks like an okay start from everyone, relatively clean, and a few position changes going on a bit further back. Ben is ninth. Wow, after what, 4 corners?
This is absolutely craziness.
And
my god.
He's got the softs obviously, so he's going to be even more rapid than he would usually be.
That's still though, like to make that. Well, I mean, to be fair, like I said, I went from 12th to 5th in turn 1, so I had a good start. But blimey, that's crazy.
Oh, and he's just gone past
Hey,
Panitza.
oh my god, I'm 1 place away from being correct.
Can he do anything about Baby Hornet going into the final chicane? He's used a little bit of his battery, but he decides not. Can he get a really good exit? He does. Panitza's got a penalty already. Is Ben going to be P7 when we cross the line? I think he was just about. Connor
Oh
with
my
the
god, I called
absolute
that to perfection.
superb prediction. Oh, I'd love to know what that gap was. That must have been like thousandths of
That
a second.
that must have been like Chris Bailey saviour Brazil 2010 at their MRCX title decider, like
Yeah,
0.011.
yeah,
But yeah, he's
and that
sixth now. Oh my goodness.
yeah, he's gone past Armour Red. When I said P5, I meant lap two, not that one.
Okay, so I've gone P7 lap 1, you've gone P5 lap 2. Um, you, it's alright, it's only the boss man to ruin your hopes and dreams there. But those softs, from what we learnt though, based on tier 2, a few drivers went with this soft strategy and they went off after about 8 laps.
So he should have a few
So,
more laps yet, where he can make this work.
well, you hit the graining usually on lap 3 to 4 on the softs this early. But
He's not going to get him, is he?
he's let you down.
Wow.
You
Ben,
meant
I'm
lap 3 really,
disappointed.
didn't you?
Kaiser Soze with a 10-second corner cutting penalty. Not sure what's
Must have
happened
gone
there.
straight on at the. He's gone straight on somewhere. He's not even hit the chicane yet, so he's gone. He's had a moment somewhere, obviously, and it's.
Yeah, he's got wing damage as well for his troubles.
Yeah, that would explain it. But the battle out front, the front four. Well, I say that everyone down to P8, Baby Hornet, are all in a DRS train here, so. It's looking interesting. Soze's out, he's gone in the pits. But yeah.
Yeah, it's the top 8 all within DRS of each other, and that's actually making it quite difficult for Ben, although he's now right up behind Martin and going past him down the back straight. And now he is up to P5, and Chris has also gone ahead of Bobo, who's under pressure from Calvin
Calvin's
down the
gone
pit
as well.
straight.
Yeah.
Oh, Bobo
He's got
coming
the
back on the
outside of
outside.
2 though.
Yeah, he didn't
Good
want to give that one up.
defending. Very solid defending there from Bobo. He picked his line perfectly, and actually having the outside in turn 1 benefited him quite a lot for turn 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the best point on the track, really, for wheel-to-wheel racing through 1 and 2.
I do find that there is one place that's like non-DRS that you can sort of make a move if you're really close enough, and that's into the part they're coming up to now, the hairpin. If you're
Yeah.
close enough, you can make a little lunge. But like I said, you've got to be super, super close to be able to do it. Cleanly, anyway.
Yeah, and it's useful as well as Bobo goes back past Chris. But it's useful as well because the DRS detection point for the back straight is quite a bit before the hairpin, so you could make an overtake there and still have DRS down the straight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's even like the DRS detection zone is even like it's about 100 meters, 150 meters before they even get to a braking zone for it. So, yeah, it's quite. It's like I said, I still feel like though that the DRS straight, that DRS straight is just like too long of a DRS zone. If you know what I mean, they need to shorten it
Yeah.
a little bit, and they shouldn't. I hate the double DRS like detections as well, because that's obviously the detection for the run down to turn 1 and the back straight. I think they should make them separate, just to give. Then it sort of gives more chance for the other car to then come back.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I'm probably asking for too much. But yeah, this isn't ideal for Ben right now because, all right, he's got no pressure behind, but he has hit that traffic now of where he's just in a train. And those softs probably won't be feeling they definitely won't be in their peak at this stage. So, oh, there's a big Calvin's nearly just gone straight into the side of Bobo. He's gone to make the overtake down the straight and his rear's just stepped out and he saved it. It's one of the greatest saves I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, missed it. I completely missed it. Oh, and now he gets a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, he kind of did, like Bobo sort of moved over a little bit to defend, totally legal. Calvin went to then go up his inside at the same time and had the biggest tank slapper in a straight line you'll ever see in your life. And I don't know how he's kept out the side pod of that Williams, but he's managed to. Incredible.
And he stays in third place, but that a penalty he's got already, and that it's 5 drivers already we've seen with, well, Pinizza's now got his second 3-second penalty. It's a real feature of this track that you have to try to avoid as best you can, is the corner cutting. It can really hurt you.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, Calvin gets a great run off of the final chicane, and he's going to make the move surely now, although Bobo can possibly defend on the outside again through turns 1 and 2, and it's a carbon copy of what happened a couple of laps ago, but this time Calvin goes around the outside.
Yeah, he got the traction that he wanted the first. Oh, he's had a big switch out of 4 though. He managed to keep that again. He's struggling a bit on the traction though, Calvin. But I tell you what, this is absolutely music to Chris Bailey's ears. These two constantly fighting.
Yeah, it wasn't enough though to prevent Calvin from getting DRS on the previous straight. So he has managed to get back within a second. It wasn't enough for Chris to pull away. But we've got, the top 5. Saviour is slowly but surely making his way up. He's currently up to P9 on medium tyres.
Yeah, I mean, Saviour was never going to make the sort of run through that Ben was, because of the fact that he's on similar tyres to everyone else. But getting up to 9th this quickly is still very good progress. And Ben's in the pits. I was going to say, I almost passed Ben. I was like, whoa, what's happened there? But no, he's dived in the pits.
And he's gone onto the mediums. So I just wonder what he's going for here, strategy-wise.
Well, it's definitely going to be more than a 1 stop, because those mediums won't go to the end from here.
Yeah. But is he now able to...
a bit wacky.
Yeah, well, he should be fast enough to create a bit of an undercut for himself, although he won't have DRS actually, and the top 4 obviously all do. And it is very powerful, so that might work against him, but in the meantime, he's got a few cars to overtake as well. Scottish Ninja, Pinizza and Sam are all just up the road.
Yeah. I mean, he's got, I think it's like you just said in a way, like he's not in clear air, so that will hurt him a little bit. He needs to try and navigate these guys quickly and pick them off.
Yeah, and they're fighting as well, Ninja and Pinizza, but Ben with DRS is actually going to get past the pair of them.
He makes everything just look so easy.
Yeah.
Oh, the Haas has just gone straight on Scottish Ninja.
Oh, and Pinizza actually came into the pits. I don't know if he meant to do that.
I think that was the reason for Ninja going straight on. I think it put him off.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of wing damage there for Pinizza, so he's got a new front wing and the set of mediums and comes back out.
But it's like I was saying to you in the little chat we were done before, when we thought we were live originally, like the pit lane here is not the greatest in terms of avoiding cars, because I think it's almost ridiculous, because like I said, you almost brake at the same point to go in the pit lane as you would to make the corner, and it's so far from ideal. It's almost impossible to react. In qualifying, it's horrible as well. So it's one of those things. But yeah,
Calvin moves up into the lead ahead of Chris.
He does, but he has got that 3-second penalty, which is going to hurt him.
Yeah, and at this stage, the this group of four, they don't even need to really battle each other too hard. They just need to ride each other's DRS slipstream and pull themselves along, really. It's not until the latter stages of the race that they need to start really fighting.
Well, if you... Oh, Chris has just gone super deep under just after the bridge, though. But I think if you're Calvin, this is your opportunity to potentially try and build a gap, really push on, because if you can build a gap now, it might put you in better stead later with that 3-second penalty. But obviously, when you got Chris Bailey, Bobo, and Ant behind you, it's easier said than done to just go and build a gap, isn't it? So.
Yeah, and with 3 DRS zones around the track as well, it's just you're basically trying to build up a 1-second gap in one sector, and that's obviously very hard.
Yeah, but when tyre wear comes in, a lot of drivers will make mistakes. It's just about who makes them less than everyone else. I mean, Bobo is looking very quick. Chris almost looks like he's struggling because Calvin is starting to pull away a little bit here. Slowly, but Bobo's right on the back of Chris, so I wonder if Chris is maybe struggling a little bit.
Got to be too early for tyre wear to be kicking in, surely.
No, for some
Chris
reason
does the same thing again at that chicane.
Yeah, based off what I saw on the strategy screen before my tier 3 race, the mediums die really quickly, but the hards last forever. Is like, I think the maximum it showed me I could go was 15 on the mediums without them falling off a cliff. But the hards, it said I could have done up to 25 laps or so.
Oh, someone's hit the wall. Was that Bobo hitting the wall out?
I think it might have been, yeah, I think he tapped the wall of champions. Yeah, it looked that way. Xavier's pit. Is that a little reaction to Ben, I wonder? But actually saying that, Ben was the car behind him, so probably not.
Yeah, and predictably there's the fastest lap from Ben. Yeah, that seems a bit early from Xavier.
Do we have any idea how long a pit stop is here?
I don't think it's that long. It's certainly a shorter pit lane than usual. Because you cut off the last chicane and then turn 1.
I'm going to put a very disturbing fact out here right now. Ben has pitted, and he is 12.4 seconds off of the lead.
Wow. Ridiculous.
So bear in mind he was in that DRS train. Let's say he is probably about 22 seconds is what I'd roughly guess for the pit lane here.
Yeah.
He's taken 10 seconds out of them in the space, and he's done how many laps on those tyres? 4. In 4 laps he's taken 10 seconds out of them. That is wild.
Ninja has retired in the pits, but yeah, it's insane. And we were watching as well, like him overtaking drivers when he had come out after his pit stop, and he just, yeah, like you said, just made it look so easy, like a hot knife through butter pretty much. He was just overtaking everyone at the first opportunity. It's just incredible.
The thing is, I'd love to know what setup he's got, because he looks very planted in the corners, but then he gets to a straight and he just breezes past everyone who also has ERS and DRS going. Oh! Yeah. Calvin's round at the hairpin.
Oh, and he's round
got
again.
Yeah. Oh, it's a shame.
Looks like the rears maybe are starting to go off on him.
It was a weird one. He went on the entry of the corner rather than the exit.
And that's made it a group of 3 now at the front. And Ben just 1 second now behind Armour Red. Oh, and Armour Red pits, so Ben is up to 5th. So yeah, we do seem to be getting to that stage now where the mediums are starting to really go off. Dan has retired. Yeah. Oh, that's on track. That's out of the second chicane, is it? Oh, what is
I
going on there? Oh no, was that Sam? No. I don't know what was going on with Dan's car there.
I think, well,
His
is
car's
his
still
car
going.
moving?
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
out of the race.
I wonder if he's disconnected potentially, and it's caused a retirement, because that would explain why there's no safety car.
Yeah. His car's gone now.
Well, at least
But
it's gone, but wow.
he nearly took out well, someone, I can't remember who now, but yeah, his car was just driving on its own.
Yeah, that is far from ideal.
We've got
But
Chris and Bobo now pitting for hard tyres, and Ben has easily undercut them.
yeah, this absolutely wild. But well, Ben is going to have to pit again unless he's got some crazy tire. If he's kept his tire life and able to go to the end on that,
Yeah.
then when you look at how hard he's been pushing as well, yeah, wild.
Oh, Saviour gets a 3-second penalty, which is a bit of a surprise to see him do that.
I know he struggles with racing on crossplay, so I do wonder potentially if that is having some sort of impact. But
And now into the pits, and Calvin is also coming in. So yeah, Ben takes the lead, but he will have to make another stop, we think, unless he's got absolutely incredible powers of tyre conservation.
yeah, there's absolutely no way he's getting to the end. Said my famous last words. But yeah, I think that's even too much for him. But I also think even if he has to pit again, he can still win this race.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think that's even a crazy prediction. It might sound crazy, but I don't think it is, based off what we've seen so far. So, yeah.
Well, he's still quicker than Chris in second place on 9-lap or 8-lap old mediums compared to their fresh hards. So he's going to keep on extending that gap.
The one thing I will say is, though, the hards do take forever to get heat into. They take a good 3 or 4 laps, but Bobo's just passed Chris as well.
Yeah, and Ant has lost touch of it here. He's 1.5 seconds back, so that could be the end of his chances in this race, because once you lose that DRS, it really is difficult to catch back up.
Yeah, it certainly is. He was right in the mix of the leading guys at the start of the Tier 1 race, but he had an unfortunate spin, which then just he couldn't recover from. So he managed to come back and get goodish points. I think he finished 8th or something. But yeah, he was unlucky on Monday after showing good pace, but he hasn't quite had the pace of Chris, Bobo, or even Calvin, you'd say, in this race so far. So he's just got to keep his nose clean and keep himself out of trouble a little bit.
Well, speaking of Calvin, he's now backing up Saviour. 0.4 of a second between those two. And Saviour, who pitted for hards a bit earlier as well, so his wear is going to be... Well, I mean, the hards don't really wear at all, do they?
No, everyone on hards would. Well, other than Smith, he's done 16 laps. He'll struggle to get to the end. But the guy I was in a party with, Winky, in Tier 3, let's just say he managed 29 laps on hards, and he had 30% at the end of the race. But
Yeah.
that was as well a very safety car heavy race. So these guys will have more than that, but
Yeah.
it just shows that the general life of them really isn't bad at all. So
Yeah. And we've made it half distance now without a safety car.
yeah, I'm still banned from saying that word forever because every time I say it happens. So I refuse, and I really don't want one. So yeah, but Xavier did manage to get Calvin, interestingly. So it'll be interesting to see if Xavier can catch up to Ant maybe here and potentially Chris and Bobo. But that 3 seconds is obviously going to hurt him quite badly. The guys with penalties will be praying for no safety cars.
Yeah.
Because that obviously bunches the pack, so that'll really, really hurt them.
And there's only 6 cars left who haven't had a penalty yet. Ben, Chris, Bobo, and Ant, the top 4. Armour Red, who's having a quiet race in 7th at the moment. And Moritz as well is the other one, who
Yeah, Moritz is
so far
very new
stayed
to the league as
penalty-free.
well.
Yeah, I was
So,
thinking it's a name I've not heard before.
yeah, he joined. Well, his first race was just last week in I can't remember, Portimao. Scored points, tier 2. I think he got like 4th or 5th this week in tier 2. So he's coming to the league. He's made a name for himself, and you never know, he might be looking into tier 1 very soon as well. But I have to say, looking at some of these cars, I don't know if it's Simon's connection or something, but it's very, very laggy. I don't know if it's just me seeing that, but yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything too bad lately.
Well, let's just put it this way. Saviour's just put it in a wall, but hasn't put it in a wall, if that makes sense. But maybe it's me.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what happened earlier when I saw someone's wing flying off, but then all the cars still had their wing. Maybe there's, a fair bit of that going on, actually.
Yeah. I think crossplay, it's still got a lot to it. It's definitely better than it was on the last game. Last game was absolutely diabolical. You could not drive on it at all. You definitely couldn't host a league on it. But I think now, at least now we can actually race with it. Even though the Codemasters, if I have to ask you one thing, please just improve the invite system.
Yeah, oh yeah,
for it.
100%.
Because trying to genuinely, I used to create my lobby about 20 minutes before the session started. Now I have to create it 45 minutes before.
Yeah. Ben's in the pits.
It is very long-winded. Yep, he is. So that'll be his last stop, obviously. So he's probably going to put mediums on again, you'd think. Yeah, he is. It's more now. He's probably going to come out behind Calvin.
Yeah. Well, it might be tight, actually, because Calvin's got a... Oh, no, Calvin will be ahead. Oh, will he? Just, no. Side by side. Oh, and Ant gets the 3 seconds. This could be tight into the chicane.
What a move that is!
Yeah.
On cold tyres.
Ridiculous.
And in that sort of situation, I've got to give Calvin credit because he could quite easily have just missed his braking point by a little bit and gone straight to the side of him. That's great driving from both.
Yeah, unfortunately I was in broadcast view and I didn't have the greatest perspective of just how close that was, but could still see how impressive a move that was from...
Well, it's not a corner that you'd usually think to overtake at, is it? Let's be totally honest.
No. But yeah, Ben can just seemingly at any corner, at any time, just make it happen.
Yeah. It's almost like how much he has in his locker is crazy. You're surprised by things he does, and we probably shouldn't be surprised at this stage.
No. he's going to be on an absolute mission now with much fresher tyres than everyone ahead of him.
I'm wondering if it's prediction time again from me. I'm thinking by lap 25, he will be on the back of Ant.
So what lap do you think he's going to be in the lead?
30.
Okay. I'm going to say 33, just because I think it will be a bit more difficult with everyone having DRS.
I just think those tyres are going to make such a difference. Especially now that they're on low fuel, they're going to have longer lasting. They're going to be longer lasting as well.
Yeah.
And he seems to be really, really good on his tyres as well. Bearing in mind he's made the softs last longer than we've seen. He's also just set a fastest lap, so he's absolutely on a mission. He's taken us nearly 2 seconds out of Saviour on that lap as well. And that was with a wild overtake into turn 3. So...
Yeah. And we had Ant trying to overtake Bobo into turn 1, and there was a bit of contact on the exit, but it doesn't look like anyone is damaged by that. So those three carrying on at the front.
Yeah, thankfully they're all good. It's still a battle between those guys. The only thing that could hinder Ben is the fact that those guys are all in a DRS of each other. That's the only thing that could hurt him slightly, but I still feel like his grip out of corners, like ultimately, the DRS is irrelevant if you get a better exit out of that hairpin. If you get a better exit out of that hairpin, the chances are you're making the overtake.
Yeah, and speaking of, here he goes, easily past Saviour to take P4.
Right, so either Saviour had a mistake, or he's taken 6 seconds out of Saviour in one lap.
Hey, he was only a second behind, wasn't he? On the lap before.
Oh no, I've got the gap to leader. I'm an absolute silly goose. Ignore me. Oh, in that case, I'm saying he'll be in the lead by lap 27.
Okay, I'm going to stick with 33, but you were right with the lap 1 prediction, so...
I didn't realise I had it on the gap to leader, and it was saying he was like, and I had it as thinking, he's like 4.6, he's 5.2 off Saviour here. It turns out he was 5.2 off the lead. So
Yeah.
I think it could even be sooner. I think it could even be potentially 26, but I'm going to stick with 27. But
He's already
this is...
gapped Saviour by a second.
And he's already only 4/10 off being in the DRS of these guys. This is absolutely wild. Where's Joni when you need him? I never thought I'd say those words.
Yeah.
But let's also recognise as well, like I was saying to you again in the previous stream that we thought was live, the fact that Saviour pushed Ben all the way to the end in Tier 1. Like, Ben won the race on the last lap of the race, and Saviour led the entire thing, virtually. So, Ben has tried something wacky. Not only that, started at the back at the same time. And this is what he's producing with this. It sounds like I'm part of a Ben fan club or something, but how could you not be at this stage?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's hard not to be impressed by what we're seeing here. Like, he's just absolutely eating up the time, and he's put himself on the back of this group. Anyone in chat want to give us a prediction on when he's going to take the lead?
Yeah, I mean, all right, maybe my 27's looking a bit out the window now, to be honest. But I mean, I think he's about to get Ant down to turn 1 though. He's just had a much better exit out the final corner.
Oh, Ant defending, but that doesn't matter because he just goes around the outside. Insane.
Ant has just had his pads pulled down.
Yeah. It still could be done by lap 27.
If he gets second down the next DRS...
Oh, he thought about it. He thought about going for the move on the Bobo.
No, it's done. It's done. Look at the exit.
Yeah, there's just nothing Bobo can do about this one.
Do not overtake Chris this lap, please.
Oh, is Bobo going to try and come back?
Because the issue is, I did say it could potentially be 26, didn't
Oh,
I?
and there goes Ant
But
down the inside of Bobo as well.
oh, yeah. I think that was a bit of lag though, because he did have a moment. There you go. Where he's ruined my prediction. Cheers, Ben.
Ridiculous. It's just so
This
ridiculous.
but right. Let's also just like for people that might not have watched MRC before. Chris Bailey, Bobo, Ant, and Xavier, you would definitely class as top 6 drivers in MRC.
Yeah.
And he's just made them look like me.
Yeah. Made them look like absolute noobs.
And they're top 6. I'm bottom 6 drivers. So that's what he's made them look like there. It's absolutely ludicrous. But yeah, I think he's gonna win this race now by probably over 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, he's already out of DRS, which is, again, just mad. But yeah, we were all wrong. Mark said lap 28. I said lap 33 like an idiot. And,
I wish I changed to 26 like I mentioned it, but here's what it is. I mean, I'm still impressed that I got my lap 1 prediction right. That was kind of wild.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Especially with how close it was as well across the line. But, you know.
Yeah, I might have to go back and try and get like a freeze frame to see just how close that was.
Yeah, I agree. It must. I mean, they were verging alongside. I know for a fact Ben just about had his nose ahead, but yeah, it was unbelievable. But he's the battle now though is very much for second, but sadly for Ant, it looks like now pretty much it's between Bobo and Chris because Ant does have that penalty. Obviously, Xavier though now has also caught the pack, which is interesting.
Yeah, Nant's actually picked up his second penalty, so he's got 3 seconds more than Xavier. So at the moment, Xavier is nailed on for P4, unless he gets another one.
Yeah, is there a rule today where we're not giving Ben driver of the day? Because
I can't imagine who else you would give it to.
Well, I mean, Xavier's had a pretty good drive to get back to where he is, considering, but
Yeah.
I can't not give it to Ben. This is the thing. Like I'm saying it already. He could crash and put it in the wall, but he's been that impressive that at this stage, there's no one else really in contention. I mean, Xavier will get an honourable mention, but Xavier's just made the move on Ant as well.
Yeah, side by side through turns 1 and 2. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything around the outside. Oh, but he gets the exit, and as he now, they're still side by side down to the next chicane. Ant broke later around the outside. Oh, and they're still fighting hard, and Ant stays ahead. That was really nice stuff.
Watching Ant though, I am wondering if he's struggling a little bit with his brake bias because he's locking up into every single corner.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's got some sort of braking issues or pedal issues or something. But
it is one of the things we see though with
yeah,
because usually obviously in tier 1 you are allowed to have ABS on. So it is one of the things that these drivers will find without that assist on is just how much you can lock up the tyres.
Oh well, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think there's only 1 or 2 in tier 1 that actually have ABS on. But other than that, I think they're all notices pretty much anyway in that tier.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's something I've tried. I've dabbled with it in the past. I don't have the time to sit there and learn it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you have got to sweat it a bit to get it right.
Yeah. Oh, this lag is really putting me off because that looked like Chris was heading right towards a barrier.
Oh, I missed that. I saw it earlier with Ben, actually. Ben was lagging about quite a lot. Although maybe that was just how quick he
Yeah,
was. Don't know.
I started to forget that he's actually racing because he's now nearly 5 seconds clear. But Chris has just taken P2 from Bobo. So 5 laps to go.
Oh, Saviour's having a look at Bobo as well.
Yeah, Saviour's really put on a charge on those hard tyres, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been quietly quick, if that makes sense. It does in my
Yeah.
mind, but
Yeah, I know what you
yeah.
mean.
He's almost come from nowhere is more what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Let's have a look at the position changes. Obviously, Ben is up 13 places, but yeah, Saviour started 16th. Ben with a 3-second penalty. Did not expect to see that.
I don't think it's going to make any difference
No,
unless
it
his
absolutely
tyres fall
doesn't.
off the cliff.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh,
I mean, he's got... Yeah, I mean, there is the slight chance his tyres might fall off a cliff, but, I mean, he's still extending the lead, so I don't see it changing the result of the race, sadly for him, but, well, sadly for Chris, I mean. Ant's just passed Bobo.
yeah, and Saviour into the hairpin had a... I think he made contact with Bobo there as well, but Bobo's coming back around the outside. Oh, and sliding through turn one. Nearly losing the car.
Yeah, he's done well to save that.
That's given Chris a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, I think Chris ended up, I want to say, on the podium in tier one. No, P4, I think it was. So he's bettered that by 2 places in this race. I mean, Bobo's been wildly impressive. I mean, he's still fairly new to tier one as well, but he's, you know, he's come so far since he first joined the league.
Yeah, I
And
remember seeing him in tier 3 when he
yeah,
started.
I don't know how he ever managed to crap his way into that one because he was way too quick from the minute going, that's it. But it's taken nothing away from him. Like, obviously, it's good to see a new champion and all that. But to make the jump to tier one from tier three and perform how he has, I think it's actually really impressive because it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
So,
And he's now one of only 3 drivers here who don't have a corner cutting penalty. And
yeah, he
Moritz as
certainly is. I
well.
mean, Moritz has just got. Yeah, Moritz is really, again, he's had a really quiet but impressive race. I mean, I know he's quite a way off the rest of the pack, like off Armar, but I mean, he's second out of the tier two guys. Let's just say that he's ahead. He's ahead of Baby Hornet comfortably, who's a tier one driver. So it's impressive. It's like I said, I do think a lot of these, with a bit more practice, a lot of these tier two drivers could definitely at least compete for the lower end points in tier one.
Yeah, definitely.
And I also think there's a lot of tier ones you could send down to tier two, and they might not easily, well, may not easily as you think win the title. But you know, it just shows how it's good to have this sort of competition in a league, though. I mean, it's probably not good for the drivers' heart rates, but nearly 6 seconds out front now. Ben's still building the gap when you would now expect his medium to definitely be feeling at least second hand. Hold on, what's that yellow flag? It's a Ferrari. I think Baby Hornet's just had a spin. I think single track's just gone past him in the hairpin.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think he might have done what Calvin did earlier in the race. But, yeah, this is... shaping it. I mean, you'd still say Bobo's definitely favourite for at least third. He's still in the big fight for the second though, because obviously Chris, they've all caught back up to Chris as well.
Yeah, he might even have a chance of overtaking him down into the final chicane here. He might have a
They,
chance. Oh, yep, and
he's
Chris
done it.
backed out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
think Chris kind of got put in a position where he had to there though, in a way, because otherwise there was going to be a bit of a crash. But I also think Bobo sort of had no option but to make the move because he had that much overspeed.
yeah. Shout out to
So
Xavier as well. He's now worked himself up into second
yeah,
and
it
had a brilliant
it's
race.
wild. Yeah, certainly. I mean, he is going to lose the podium. Well, unless he pulls out the last lap of his life, but it does look like he's going to lose the podium. But interestingly, I think Ben's tyres might have gone off because that gap's come down by a second.
Yeah, but Xavier gets another 3 seconds. Oh, he's up to 9 seconds now, so that's killed any chances he had of maybe holding on to some positions. But Ben is now 1 corner to go, or well, 2 corners to go technically in the chicane. And what a drive! What can we say? Absolutely amazing as usual. Takes the checkered flag as the winner, and Xavier will cross the line second, but it's going to be Bobo and Chris Bailey rounding out the podium from Ant and Xavier in the top 5.
Yeah, it's a shame Calvin wasn't able to hold on to the battle. I mean, he'd still be happy enough, I think, with P6, but he was right up there at the start. But yeah, but I mean, is that maybe the biggest masterclass we've seen in MRC? It might be the biggest one I've seen.
Yeah, it's the biggest flex I've ever seen from a driver, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm half tempted to put my hand up in stewards and just report bullying, but I'm not sure how far I'll get with that. But no, that's just absolute. Well, what we've witnessed there is quite frankly, like, I genuinely think he might have even beaten Ujoni with that strategy today. He was just in another. It was like Verstappen at Brazil last season.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
masterclass.
no one was anywhere near him at any point. But yeah, wild.
And he gets driver of the day from the
So
game.
undeserved. No, I can't even dispute it. Fair play.
And
But
there we see him out on the podium, and I've skipped it. Didn't mean to do that, but anyway, let's just run through the results quickly. Ben taking a very impressive victory from Bobo and Chris Bailey. Ant in 4th, Xavier in 5th, Calvin 6th, Armored 7th. Moritz, really good job from him, P8 without any penalties. Single track in 9th, Rassam in 10th, Laupi in P11, Panitza P12, Baby Hornet, Smith, Lou, who were all lapped in 13th, 14th, and 15th. And then I think the next 3 drivers DNF'd: Dan, Scottish Ninja, and Kaiser Soze. All didn't make it to the end, unfortunately. But there we go. That is the end of round 2 in season 16 of MRC. And yeah, as Connor said, well, I think in this version of the stream, that we're off to Brazil next week and Interlagos. So again,
yeah,
another very famous, legendary track, and that will be starting off on Friday with MRCX before Tiers 1 and 2 on Monday, and Tier 3 and Xtreme next Wednesday night. But yeah, thank you very much, Connor, for joining me tonight. It was good to have you alongside me.
always a pleasure.
And thank you, everyone,
But
for
yeah,
watching. And yeah, we'll see you
yeah.
soon.
Take care. Good night.